Good morning, everybody. Here we are Tuesday morning, and once again, the good Lord's blessed us with another opportunity to open up His Word and to get our daily dose of our spiritual vitamins from His Word. This morning, I want to look at a conversation Jesus was having with this woman at the well. Most of us are probably somewhat familiar or very familiar with this account in John, the 4th chapter. The entire context is dealing with Jesus walks up and he begins his conversation with this lady at the well. The disciples had went off into the town to get something to eat and come back. And in the process of that time, while they were gone, Jesus was having a conversation with this lady. And Jesus asked this lady for a drink of water. And so the conversation continues to go, and he begins to tell her some things that give her some hope. And Jesus makes this statement to her, and I think it's very relevant to you and I today. In John chapter 4 and verse 13, it says, Jesus answered and said to her, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life." Now, as the text unfolds, we know that this woman had been in 5 marriages or 5 relationships, and the old boy that she's living with now, she wasn't her husband is either. So that's not an uncommon thing. You know, there's a lot of that going on nowadays. So this is very applicable to you and I. But I want to focus in on this statement that Jesus said, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again." I believe the point that Jesus is making is the things of this life will not satisfy. And I mean this. Here is this woman, as the text unfolds a little bit later on down. She was trying to find peace and happiness and joy between the sheets. She was looking for peace and hope, some consistency in her life, but it was all by the wrong means. It was in sex. It was in relationships. And those things never satisfy. Think about us. How many, or maybe even you, maybe you're seeking to find joy in sex. Maybe you're seeking to find and fill that void with alcohol or drugs or whatever it is that it might be. And just like Jesus said it, that water never satisfies because you got to get more. It never fills that emptiness, that hole that we are seeking to fulfill and quench. It doesn't supply what it is that we need. So what do we have to do? Well, just like this woman with this physical well, you got to keep coming back to the well. You got to keep coming back to the well. You got to keep coming back to the well. It's the same thing for you and I. As long as we keep drinking from the same well, we're never going to be satisfied in this life. As long as we keep drinking from the well that's based on the pleasures of the flesh, we are never, ever going to be satisfied. The only remedy, the only thing that is going to give pure peace and joy and contentment within our soul is what Jesus has to offer. He says in verse 14, "But whoever," that means you, me, no matter who it is, "drinks of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst." That means you'll be content. That very thing that one is looking for in sex, in alcohol, in drugs, in the party scene, in whatever, that would, the contentment and peace that you're looking for in all those things, you'll never get it. You got to keep going back to that same well. And that same well always has more issues, more problems that take away the very thing that you're trying to get to. And that is peace and joy and contentment. And the only thing that's going to fill that, Jesus said, is what I've got. Start drinking from my well. Stop drinking from the well of misery. Stop drinking from the well of the things of this world, because it's never going to satisfy you. And so Jesus says, drink from the well that I've got. He said, if you do that, you'll never thirst. You'll be content. you'll find that which you are really looking for. And some say, well, getting on that Jesus stuff, going to church and all that, it's not any fun. Well, how's your fun working out for you now? How much peace do you have now? How much joy do you have now? How big, how deep, how dark is that void inside of you now? When you look at it like that, it don't seem like that bad of an option, does it? What is it that Jesus wants to give you? The very thing that you're looking for. But it's only going to be truly found on His terms. Let us start drinking from His well. And let us fill in the well of the fleshly desires of this world to where we cannot drink from it anymore. And so, here we find this, here we find what Jesus has to offer. That's the answer. How about you? How about you? I encourage you, I invite you. Stop going back to the well that's never going to give you the satisfaction that what you're really looking for. Leave that well. Come to the well that contains that which Jesus wants to help you with in this life. And if we can help you with that, friend, get with us via this video and we'll be happy to sit down and help you along that way. But there's your dose of God's Word today, and it's just as good a medicine today as it was when Jesus spoke them words to this woman as well. Stop drinking from your well. Start drinking from my well. Start drinking from the well of Jesus Christ. I hope it'll do you some good, and I hope it'll help you get through your day, and I hope it'll get your wheels turning, that you'll fill in that well of fleshly desires and start coming over here and start drinking from the well of Jesus Christ. There's your dose of God's Word. Lord, we'll get back tomorrow morning and get another dose to get our day started off right. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you then.